Ta-da! I could be a surgeon. I just removed a form of cancer from my car. There's the piece. We cut this out. We really took our time. So the first one we cut was the white one. And we did a pretty good job on it, but it was pretty good. But this one we did a pretty damn good job. We were real careful cutting this to try not to mess up. Like if you look at this top edge, like look how straight that is. I don't know if it shows up on camera. That is damn straight for freehanding stuff. And yeah, big giant hole in the car. So I kind of skipped ahead. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. But there she is. It's just taped in there right now. I threw the tail light just to see how it looks. But I mean, we got the fitment pretty close. The only thing I think I screwed up was a little bit of a gap here. There's my thumb for reference. There's about 100 thou. I'm sure that's going to suck to weld. But that's about it. Like this top, like you can see where these curves meet. I mean, this is, you know, let me try to zoom in so you guys can really see. I mean, that looks great. That fitment's good, and there's really hardly any gap running across this. I mean, here's my fingernail for reference. I mean, it's just barely anything. Here it's poking out a little bit. It needs a little bit of fine fitment. It's not quite perfect, but it's pretty close. Here there's a gap. I cut too much. Oops. I didn't think well, it's not really I cut too much. It's the problem is the angle. Like down here at the very bottom, it's actually touching, or really close to touching. It's touching there, but it gets bigger as you go up. So I actually used a right angle. So when I was marking this, I basically had this flange right here. I put the bottom edge of the right angle 90-degree speed square on that edge and drew a straight line up. But the problem is this panel was bent and the other panel wasn't. And it was really hard. It wanted to rock on this surface. So I just did the best I could to get it square. And we came up slightly short. But that's okay. We got a welder. And we can fill that in, and it shouldn't really be a big deal. But I'm very happy. Man, this has been on the car. Like I said, it's the end. Look, I'm going to date the video. This thing has been like 12 or 13 years having a dent here, and I'm finally getting this fixed. So pretty excited about that. Let me see if I can pop this tail light out of here. Okay, I'll pause the video. Okay, yeah, here's what it looks like. I mean, like I said, the fitment's fucking great, you know. This metal was bent, which I couldn't cut it out because that's where the panel I got stopped. So we did the best we could. We cut it, like we cut everything right, but this, you can see right here, this doesn't quite line up. This piece on the bottom needs to get hammered out a tiny bit. Yeah, but we'll adjust this. We're just kind of getting it close right now. Next step, we need to get all the paint off of this and then grind all of this so we can actually think about welding it. But man, this is good. Now granted, you can see this section is gone. We got to remark it, but all that's getting cut off there. But I'm still going to use this to line everything up. So before we weld, yeah, like that doesn't really matter, but looks like that's might be off a little. We'll see. But we're basically going to get everything lined up. It looks right here though, so that's weird. But we're going to that's getting cut off anyway. It doesn't matter. But we're going to get everything as lined up as possible and weld this thing on, and then we'll go back and cut that section off afterwards. But man, very happy. Man, cutting all this stuff kind of sucks. We knew we were going to do this, so we knew we would probably have to use a Dremel to do this type of work. So a while back, about a year ago, I bought a pack of these. It's like 12 of the cutoff wheels from Dremel, and I had used a decent amount of them. You can see there's like 2 left in this one. So I bought 2 more packs of these. So I had an extra 24 plus the ones I had, and I burned through the ones I had, and then this is a new pack, and we burned through 10 of those. You can see there's just grinder dust everywhere, and I swept the floor like 3 times cleaning up grinder dust. So we probably burned through 15 or 18 of those cutoff wheels to do that one fender cut over there that's not even done, and this panel. So sacrificed a lot of those, but it's worth it because the control's great. You can see how straight this is. I mean, it's the first time I've ever done this, and it turned out pretty nice. So yay. I think our next steps, we got to figure out, I bet you it's too late to buy paint stripper, but I'm going to go see if it's possible, if anybody's open and has it, and then if not, we'll probably just start grinding. But we need to get all this paint off so we can and then basically get the paint off. And the next step is, this is kind of like rough fitment, per se. It's not the final fitment, but we roughly, like you can see, it kind of fits. It's pretty close. The next step is to get the final fitment, and we can see this corner. It looks like we might have had, I'm not really sure if we did anything wrong here or not, but maybe that's just because this doesn't have the curve in it like it should, because this bottom lines up nicely. So it's not like the panel's too high or too low, really. I mean, that's pretty much nailed it right there. So I'm not sure about that, but it's getting cut off, so I guess that doesn't matter. But anyway, we got to do final fitment. We got to get this thing to fit exactly how we want. I'm going to hammer this bottom piece a little bit and bring it out, because this panel's correct. This is the part that's wrong, so I'm going to try to fix this piece to match that. Get our final fitment done, all the paint cleared off, and then tack weld it in place, because things like this, I mean, right now this is butter. That is beautiful. Not here. Here it poked out. I need to fix that. That's just from tape, nothing holding it. But we want to make sure we get the fitment. This is one of the big ones that you're going to see where this ties in. So here, this is like one-dimensional. So it's a lot easier to hide. If there's a mistake, you can weld it and kind of sand and blend and make that go away. Same thing here. But this corner, that's a lot harder, because that's a curve this way and a curve that way. Just, it's all in 3 dimensions. So this is probably the primary thing I want to get lined up and make damn sure that I'm like super happy with that. So I'll like put a straight edge here and a straight edge here and just make sure we really think we got that right and that the eye says it looks good. And we'll actually start tack welding here probably, and then work our way across the panel or something like that. Don't really know, never done this. But hey, so far so good. This is, I kind of wish I'd done, you know, I say I wish I'd done it sooner. I didn't actually have a shop and have all the right tools. So I guess now that I have a shop, this is the time to do it. But very glad to be making this repair. And I guess since I'm doing this, maybe I'll actually fix some other stuff eventually, because like, yeah, it probably didn't show up. There's a little dent like right there, and there's a bunch of little dents here and there on the car. So maybe we'll fix some of those too. All right, so we're gonna call it a night. We made some pretty good progress. We got this whole piece all marked up, cut out on the panel and cut out on the car. That's the panel we bought that we cut it out of. And we got it to fit fairly well. And we went around and ground the paint all the way around. We actually did it on both sides, although we didn't get the inside as good as the outside. So probably needs another round of cleaning. I need to caliper this, but that is some insanely thin metal, so that's going to really suck to weld. But, oh well. Let's see. We did discover what I kind of knew was true, but I'm very sad. So this piece, I think the metal's good, but whenever they did the repair, they just smeared like filler or something. There's some kind of like, there's the old paint, this is like filler or something, and then this is actually paint, and this is fiberglass. When you sand it, it stinks and everything. It's definitely got fiberglass. That sucks, because we went around and cleaned this, but I don't want this on the car at all, so we're going to have to sand all that crap off. And it's not that big of a panel, as you can see, so we'll just do it. But it is messy. It makes a big mess. We might move outside and do this tomorrow. Should have done. I just didn't think about it. But it's making a mess in my shop. So anyway, we probably got another hour or two to get the... Because paint stripper I don't think will work. It'll take the paint off, but it's not going to take the filler off. So we're going to have to do this the old way. But anyway, we'll do that. We still got to flip it around and clean the edges where we're going to weld. But the rest of this we're going to leave, since that's OEM paint. It's pretty good quality stuff. And then we got to go and do the final fitment. We've been tweaking it here and there, trying to figure out, like, you know, what's touching and what's not. And the fitment's slightly better than it was, but it still isn't perfect. Right now, I got this corner here fitting fairly good, but this top's not fitting. So like right here, there's a tiny little bump where it steps down right there. And then, yeah, there's that bump, kind of like between here and here, where it needs to be a little lower. And then, looks like there might be a bump. Yeah, there's a bump right here too. See that? Need to file that spot. And same thing on the other panel. This one is cut straighter than the white panel, so the white panel is a little worse. So we're going to go ahead and get this one as good as we can, and then we're going to just basically start marking the white one, and pretty much been using a file. Goes kind of slow, but it does a good job. But anyway, we got to get that fitment right. One thing I'm pretty sure of is that when you got stuff that's really thin like this and you got to weld it, you do not want to be welding a gap. And unfortunately, the front's going to have a little bit of a gap. Maybe I can put a backup plate behind it when I weld it. Actually, maybe I should do that everywhere. Something to think about. We'll have to think about this. Probably going to start welding on this tomorrow or so, if everything goes, you know, fingers crossed. Maybe not tomorrow. I don't know. We still got to cut this other fender out. But anyway, whenever we do it, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, this thin stuff's probably going to suck. So we might, since we got this old one, maybe we'll clean some stuff or, you know, whatever. I got some scrap metal over there that came off the car, like little pieces that have been sliced off. So we might try doing some practice welding. Some of that's thin. Just, you know, some practice, kind of get a feel for how to weld this super thin metal. Because not only do we need it to, you know, get a good weld, not strength-wise, but just fill it in. But we don't want this all warping too bad either. Because our goal is to not put body filler on this. Don't know if we can do that. I've never even done body work, so this is kind of YOLO for me. But anyway, good progress. I'm glad I'm finally working on this. So we'll get going back on this tomorrow and see if we can't break out the welder. All right, y'all take it easy.